Refugees make the news a lot today. There's a lot of conversation about the refugee crisis, and people are asking what it's like to be a refugee, what we can do to help. What's interesting to me is the way these stories are patterned and create kind of a single story about what being a refugee means. Refugee is a legal label, and it's a recent label historically. Migration, on the other hand, has existed for as long as human beings have existed. So in humanitarian storytelling, there's actually a bit of a pendulum swing between representing refugees as victims, which requires your help as the viewer, sort of charity, humanitarian work, and on the other hand, refugees as resilient. And so it's kind of almost superhuman, you know, the amazing things that they've done. And in both of those portrayals, there's not a lot of space for people with that legal label to just be human. In media, we tell the same sorts of stories because it is what will gain an audience, and it's easier for our audience to understand. So tropes are kind of repeated, say, characters or repeated plot lines, and these things are kind of shorthand. So I see that plot line and I understand it and I know it because I've seen a similar character in a different TV show. And while this may be a good way of storytelling for an audience or to get an audience, it may not actually be the most ethical way of representing a person's personal journey, particularly if policies are built on the kinds of conclusions that are built, or the conclusions that are made out of these kinds of patterns in storytelling. I think the amount of tension that we give to the word refugee is part of the problem, because when we start to see people in terms of the legal label, it's hard to see beyond that. So you might, I do this thing in my class where I say to this is my friend who is a refugee, and what does that tell you about the person? The label is a barrier to moving beyond and connecting as human beings.